Right, guys, I'm sharing my whole screen now. So we are going to run the Wavelet blockchain in three different terminals, so which will create the three Wavelet nodes, and we'll try out the testing benchmark and the decentralized chat. So let's start with running the Wavelet node 1. So the node 1 is running on port 3000. The API port is 9000. So if someone wants to connect to this node, they have to use that port. Right, so the node 1 is running. Now let me start the node 2. Node 2 will be running on port 3001, and API port is 9001, and it is connected to the node 1. So if you see it is connected, this is my local IP address, and node is 3000, and you can see, yeah, peer has joined. Great. Okay, let me start the third node on 3002. API is 9002, and it is also connecting to the first node. Right, great. So it's connected, and we can see the peer join. So we have total 3 nodes running now. So now what I want to do here is let's run the testing benchmarks actually. So testing benchmarks are available in I think I have that command. Yeah, it is in command benchmark folder, and if I want to run that thing, so what I will just do is run this command go, right, and run that thing. So now it is connecting to all of this my nodes and generating the test transactions. So you can see, right, so at the moment these nodes are started responding, right, they do to communicate with each other and come up with the consensus, and you can see there are like different consensus rounds actually. So that is basically what we were talking about, gossiping and query, right, kind of things. And you can see this testing benchmark, what they're doing is keep increasing the network load. So and you can see the accepted transaction per second at the moment is 10,000, say over like over the 12,000. It just keep increasing. Basically, it keep increasing with the queried RPS, right? So that is basically the querying, and this is gossiping. You can see the gossiping transaction per second is much higher than the query, right? Because querying actually, as I said, it goes bits by bits on the graph too, and the finalize and commit into the repository, right? So this keep increasing with the network load, right? And I think we're not going to do like wait until 31,000 transaction, but this is how they have tested their testing benchmark, you know. So it seems to be doing well. So all of these nodes responding, yeah, and running, coming to the transactions, and the prune the transaction. The thing is, once the transactions are finalized, right, it doesn't need to keep that portion of graph in the memory, so they remove it. So that will be useful when you're running the full node on the mobile device, where you have only 512 megabytes of memory, let's say, right? For example, because nowadays mobile is coming with like a very huge memory size. So it works because the way this DAG, directed acyclic graph, works is the Wavelet blockchain, the algorithm keeps only the transaction which are recent and pending and yet to be committed on the blockchain and finalized, right? Only those transactions stays on the graph. The transactions which are committed, they get removed from the memory, and you don't even need to store that on memory, so it frees up the memory. Right, so we are up to 21,000. I am stopping this one and we will start a decentralized chat. So let's see the decentralized chat. I already created the folder here. So let me go over this new chat, right? So it uses, it is in Rust language. So if we go on cargo, right? And it is using the smart contract and smart contract macro dependencies. And if we see the code, actually it's a little bit interesting. Let's see. It's a very small code, right? Not much that actually chat the send message and get message. That's it. And the send message is happening on the blockchain, right? The way it is doing it, and they are using WACDQ to store the messages. Right. So let's deploy this, build and deploy this on the blockchain. Yes, I already built it successfully. We don't need to build again. But if you want to build, there is commands for this, and it's explained very well here. All you need to remember is use nightly build. I think they have explained it here. So yeah, you need to use the Rust nightly build and then basically set up uh, your smart contract, yeah, and build it using this cargo new build. Now this is actually creating the new library project called my first contract. Right, where is so I mean they have all this instruction. We're not going over each and everything, but yeah, this is the one. So you can build it using this command, and it will create my first contract wasm file, which is WebAssembly instructions in the release folder. If you are trying out there, my first contract. But I have done both of those. Like I have wasm file for this decentralized chat as well as the my first contract. So let's check. So I have the target wasm and release, right? So this is what we are interested in, the wasm. All right. So what I will do now, let's switch back to the instructions. So what this is we will go over this. So this is basically their Perlin network and decentralized chat. So I already chatted with Kenta. He is a CTO at Perlin, and I did deploy this decentralized chat wasm file here. So let's do from the scratch again, so I can show you guys. I will also show you guys from the scratch this lens Perlin. So this is the testnet basically. So it's creating the private key for me. So let me do this. I will go into this decentralized net and I will paste my private key that I have generated from the testnet, and I will connect. Okay, so I connected it, and you can log in here using this. And I will need some PERL. So what I can use this faucet and get some PERL from there. I mean, you can use this Discord channel if you need more, but let's not just use uh, this one, and I think you get the 500,000 PERL, and you can see that it is reflected here as well, right? So now what I will do is I will deploy my decentralized chat on my blockchain that I'm running here. So to do that, let's go on the developer, upload smart contract, and the smart contract basically is in where is it gone? Downloads. I have a new chat, target, wasm, release, and there. So this is basically the wasm instructions that we are uploading. invalid guest limit. Yeah, we need to select the guest. Sorry guys. So let's do again. So person master need chat target person list. Right. So now it is uploading. You can see. Let's just wait a little bit. Yeah. So it's done. Okay. Now let me go to my dashboard and I should see the transaction here. Right. So if I see the transaction details, that's my smart contract ID. So what I'm going to do is let's go back to the decentralized chat and load that contract. Okay. So once it is loaded, there you go. Hi, you can start basically chatting, right? And it is confirmed on the blockchain. So you pay the 2 pulse when you are chatting. You can see it's keep decreasing your number of pulse. So this is basically the decentralized chat, right? So if you have my smart contract address, you can actually connect to it and start sending the messages to me. Right, guys, so it is that simple.